Hi, it's Jordan Teen 1, and I'm back today with another animal from my magnet series. And today I'll be showing you how to make this sweet little pig. You can see for his little legs I have magnets on the end so he will stick to a refrigerator or anything else that's metal. But if you don't have the magnets available to you, you can definitely make him without, and I will show you how to do either. And let me just show you the magnets that I am going to be using. They are called super magnets and they're made by the Magnet Source. They're ring magnets. They're a little bit smaller than the size of a dime. And I just want to point out that they do say extremely strong magnets, not for children, because they don't want kids to get their fingers pinched when the magnets go together. And the size is 0.375 inches for the outer diameter. So you can find these online or possibly at your local craft store or home improvement store. You can make this little pig either on your full-size rainbow loom, which I'll be showing today, or you can do it on the monster tail loom. You would just use these 6 pins in the shape of a rectangle. We're going to be doing that same thing on the rainbow loom. So you can see that I've removed the center row of pins, and I've separated the blue base plates away from one another, just so I have this nice open area to work with. I have my 4 ring magnets, but as I said, if you don't have magnets, you can still make this without, and it turns out really cute. I have a twisty tie, which I've just cut the edges off of the plastic part, and I'm going to use that to help thread my rubber bands through the magnets. And then as far as my bands go, I have the rainbow loom pink bands today, and I have 124 of those. I have 13 of the light pink color, and then I have 18 black. I'm going to begin by making the legs, and first I will show you how to do it without magnets. So what you want to do is take a black rubber band, and you want to place it on the left hand side and stretch it diagonally up and to the right. So it's just going to that next row above, but on the opposite side, and you do want to twist that. And then you're going to take a second rubber band, and you're going to that next pin above on the left, and you're coming diagonally down and to the right, and you want to twist that as well. Then you're going to push that down, and you're going to add a second layer. So starting on the left hand side here, you're going diagonally up and to the right, and there's no need to twist anymore. And then from the pin above here, you're crossing to make the X. If you are using magnets, what you're going to do is get one of them separated. And then you're going to take your twisty tie and put it through the center. You're going to slide it on a little ways there. And then you want to take 4 black rubber bands, take them all at once, get them on, and then you're going to take your twisty tie and make a hook and close it. And then you want that other end to slide through the middle, and then you can just slide these bands right through that magnet. I'm just going to release this. And now this part can be a little bit tricky because we need to find the loop on each of the sides here. So the easiest way is just to grab the one that's on the top and gently pull and see which one on the other side is moving. So I'm just going to take my hook and grab each side of the loop, and then I'm going to place it on the right hand side here. It's going to be the 4th pin up from the bottom. Get both of those loops to go around. And now I just need to find the rest of the loops. So I'm going to start from the bottom underneath here and gently pull. I'm going to grab the other side, and this one I'm going to stretch across to the left here, diagonally to the left. And now I'll take my next one, again from the bottom here. So it's this one here, so this is coming down and to the left. And then I have my last one here. I'll grab the loop from the bottom, get the other side of it, and that's coming up and to the right. So it's going to make an X pattern. Now from this point on, it's going to be the same whether you're using magnets or not. So I'm going to do 5 layers of pink. So I'm going to always start on the bottom left and go diagonally up and to the right, and then I'm going to cross it. So it's always going to be X's. So that's my first layer here. And at this point you should have 3 rubber bands on all of your pins. So you're just taking the bottom one from all 4 and push down. And now we'll add our second layer. Again, you're always starting on the bottom left first. You just want to keep it in that same order. And then crossing. And again, you're just removing 1 single band, so it's going to be black still this time. And I'm always going to push down after every layer just so I have more room. So now I'll do my third. And then I'll do a fourth. So this part's fairly easy. And then I have one more layer for this leg. I made these legs kind of short compared to my other animals, since pigs don't have very long legs. And now I want to remove this from the loom. So I want the bottom bands to move to the pins above. So on the right, I'm just taking them 2 at the bottom here and moving up. And now I want the bottom 2 bands to come over the top. I'm going to do the same thing on the left here. So the bottom 2 are coming up. Just make sure both loops go around there. And then the bottom 2 are coming over the top. Now what I would suggest here is if you have 2 hooks, you would take your second hook and remove this from the loom and use it as a holding hook for all of your legs until we're ready to put them on the body. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the 2 bands on the right here, get them on my hook. I'm going to leave them on. If you want, you can use your finger to hold those in place and then just pick up the other 2 as well. Now, if you do not have a second hook, what you could do is take a pen or a pencil and you could just slide this on here and then use your pen as a holding hook. So now I'm just going to repeat these steps again to make the 3 other legs. So you can pause your video here while you make your 3 legs, and if you feel like you need some more instruction, I will add the time for you to go back to follow along again with the tutorial. I've now completed all 4 of my legs, so I'm just going to leave them on my holding hook and set them aside for now. And then the next thing we're going to do is make the ears. So in order to do this, I'm taking 1 pink band and quadrupling it. So I'm just placing it on my hook. I'm going to twist and put it back on, twist, put it back on, and then one more time. So I have the 4 loops on there. And then I'm going to take 2 more rubber bands, 2 pink, and I'm going to slide these 4 loops onto there. Get them to slide onto about the center. And now I am going to place these on the 3rd pin up on the left side of my loom. And they're going to stretch straight across. And if you're working with a monster tail, you want these to go straight across the 2 center pins. And now I'm going to take the bottom 2 bands from the left here, and I'm going to stretch them to this pin below, and then I'll do the same thing on the right, so it's making a bow tie shape. And now I'm going to switch to the light pink. I'm taking 2 bands at once, and they're going straight across the bottom. And now the other 2 are going straight across the top. And then I want to remove this bottom set of pink bands, so I'm just going to release it from each side here. Push that down. And then I'm going to do another set of pink here, doing the darker pink. So 2 bands across the bottom, and then 2 more across the top. And then I'm going to remove the bottom layer, so this time it's my 2 light pink from each pin. I'm going to just slide this right back over to the center. So with the rainbow loom, I'm going to leave the bands right where they are, and this top here is actually going to be the 6 pins that we're working with here. So this would be the very bottom pin if you're using the monster tail. So let me just show you quick with that. Your band should look like this, and we're using these 6 pins, but I want these top ones to move down, and I want these to move to the end. So what you're going to have to do with the monster tail is take the right and just slide this down to the very bottom pin. Same thing on the left here. Just go right on top. And then I want these middle ones to move down to the bottom. Just make sure you're getting both of the loops to go on there. And then eventually we're going to move these back up into this section. But for right now, they're going to just stay down here. And now I'm going to repeat that again for the other ear. So I'm taking 1 pink, and I want to quadruple it on my hook. And then I'm taking 2 more pink, and I'm just going to slide this into the middle. And they're going to go straight across. Now this time I am going to go to the 5th pin up on the left if you're using the rainbow loom. And they're going to go straight across. And if you're using the monster tail, you would just put them straight across the center again. And now I want the top sections to move up. So again, I'm making that bow tie shape, but this time the top bands are moving up. And now once again, I'm going to take 2 of the light pink, and they're going to go straight across the bottom. And then 2 more across the top. And then that bottom layer needs to come off. I'm doing another layer, 2 across the bottom, and then 2 across the top. And then the bottom bands come off, so again I have the light pink, 2 from each pin. You can see that my dark pink went down a little bit too far. I want the light pink to be on the bottom here. And now the 2 from the other side. And again, I want this to slide into the middle. And once again, if you're using the monster tail loom, you want these to all slide up. So I'm taking the top section here, and they're going all the way to the pin on the very top. Just going to go one on top of the other. And then the ones in the middle here just need to move up. So I'm doing it this way because I want my pig ears to be angled a little bit more, so I'm adding the sides on different layers. So with either loom now you have this one empty row that's in the center. And now I'm going to start the top of the head. So as I said, we're mainly working with these 6 pins here. So I'm going to be starting on the left-hand side, and it's going to stretch diagonally up and to the right. It's going to be a long stretch here. It's going to be 2 of the pink bands, and I do want to twist these just because it's the very top. I'm going to take another 2, and they're going from the left-hand side here, and they're going to stretch diagonally down and to the right, and again they are going to twist. And then finally I have 2 that I want to go straight across the middle, and they're going to twist as well. Now I'm going to add another layer before I do any looping, starting on the bottom right here. Again, it's not on this one, it's the one above here. It'll be the 3rd pin up, and I'm going to just place single bands and trace around these 6 pins in the shape of a rectangle. And then straight across the bottom here. And now I want to do the looping. So I'm starting here, and I have 4 bands to come off the bottom. So I'm just going to do 2 at a time. In the center here there's just 2, and then at the top here there's 4 again. Same thing on the left here, you're going to have 4. And then 2. Make sure you're getting 2 bands at once. And then 4. Push that down. And now here's where I want to move these end of the ears. I want to put these inward. So it's just going to be on this next layer. So the bottom 2 are moving up. And then the top 2 here are going to move down. So now we've narrowed it down to the 6 pins. Now let me just quick show you, if you're using the monster tail, you have all 4 of the bands on the very end here, so you just want to move them inward. So you just want to make sure as you're doing this that you're getting them back in the right order. So it's actually going to be the reverse order of how you put them on. You just don't want them to be twisted. So as I'm doing this, I can tell that it straightened itself out again, so I know I did them right. And then for the top here, let me just turn it around. Same thing. If you're not sure if they need to go on the right or left, you can just see. If I put them over here, it looks like it would straighten out, but if I went over here, they're twisted. So I know this has to go over to the left first. And then this side will go over to the right. And so that way we've now narrowed it down to the 6 main pins that we'll be working with. And now before putting on the next layer, we're going to just loop these bands that we just moved. So just on the corner pins here, you should have 4. So we're going to take the bottom 2 and nothing in the middle. At the top here, the bottom 2. And then on the flip side, same thing, just on the ends, we're taking the bottom 2. Now for this next layer, we're going to put on the eyes. So for that, you're going to take a black band and you want to quadruple it. And then you're going to take 1 single pink and you just want to slide this on. And then I'm going to do that again. So I'm just going to quadruple the black and then slide it onto a pink. And now for this layer, it's just going to be single bands that trace around. So I'm starting at the bottom right, but this is where I'm going to put the eyes, because this right side here is going to be the face or the front. And then again, the other eye. And then I'm just going to continue tracing around here. And then I'm removing the bottom layer, so it's going to be 2 from each of the pins. And push that all down. And now I'm doing another layer, same pattern. And then again the bottom 2 come off. Now for this next layer, I'm going to add the nose. So I'm going to be using all light pink bands for that. So I want to take one single band and quadruple it. And then I'm going to take another single and quadruple that as well. And I do want them to be pretty tight against one another. And then I'm going to add another pink, and this time I'm just going to double it. I want it to go over top of the ones that are already on my hook there. Just trying to add some height to the nose. And then the last 2 we're going to put on the hook, and all of these are going to slide on. So it's going to be a little bit difficult to do. You want to make sure you get all of them on. You might have to do it in sections if they don't all go on at once. And now I want to take the bands that these slid on and separate them, and I want to get each end to go together. So 2 loops on one side and 2 on the other. So it's going to be like this. Let me just turn this, and 2 of the loops are going to go on the bottom right, and the other 2 are going to go on the top right. So you're going to have this little nose section that's in the middle, and you want it to be on the outside of the pin here. And now I'm just going to continue working my way around. So from the top here I'll just go straight across. These are just single rubber bands. And then back to the start. And now when I remove this bottom layer, you'll see that there are actually 5 rubber bands on these front pins on the right side here. We're just going to take the bottom 2, and I'm going to ignore this middle part for right now, and then on the other side it's just the bottom 2, and then on the left here it's just 2 from each. I'm going to push this all down. And now I need to address these bands here because I don't want them to be hanging off the front like that. I need them to go down inside. So what I'm going to do is just reach down in through the middle of the pin, and I'm going to take these 2 bands off. I'm going to leave them on my hook, and I'm just going to slide this nose section off so I can push it down in, and now these 2 bands just go right back on. Now for this next layer, I'm taking 2 bands at once, and I want them to stretch around all 6 pins. So I'm just going to start on the left and stretch them up so they go over all 3 on the left, and then I'm just going to take my hook and stretch all the way around the right side. So these are going to be very tight. And now this time I have 3 bands I'm going to be removing from the right here. So I want the bottom 2 light pink and then the other one. So there's 3 in total. 2 from the center, And I will warn you, when you have the bands that stretch all the way around, these center ones are the hardest ones to get off. So I would recommend that you have your bands pushed all the way down to the bottom of the pin. And then on this side I have the 3. And on the reverse it's just 2 for each. Again, this is going to be the hardest one in the middle. And I'm pushing down. Now I'm ready to add my first set of legs. So I'm going to take my hook here, and I want 2 of the loops to go on the left hand side here at the bottom. And then the other 2 are just going to stretch straight across. Same thing for the top here. 2 loops on the left, and then 2 loops straight across on the right. And now I'm going to do another layer before I loop. So from the bottom right here, just work my way around with single bands. And now I can loop. So I'm going to have 4 bands from all 4 corners and 2 from the middle. Now this bottom layer is going to be very tight because it's the ones that stretched around all 6 pins. And then just 2 from the middle. And 4 again. Again, they're very tight, the bottom 2. You'll feel it as you're pulling them over. Push that down. And now I'm going to add 4 more layers in that same pattern, so single bands that are tracing the rectangle. So I know there's a lot of different steps to follow, and it is definitely a more advanced pattern, but I think the end results are really cute. So it's just going to be the bottom 2 this time from all the pins. So that was the first layer of 4, so now I'll do the second. And again, it's the bottom 2. So hopefully everyone has gotten the hang of the different layers because they do often repeat themselves. Now this will be my third. And again, it's just the bottom 2. Push down, and then I have 1 more layer in that same pattern. And then after we do the looping for this layer, we'll be ready to add the other legs. And then once again, it's just 2 from each. And now I'm going to do the other leg, so the same thing, 2 loops on the left and right across the bottom. and then across the top. And then again, I'm putting on another layer before I do any looping. So it's going to be 2 bands that are going to stretch around all 6 pins again. It's going to be this tight layer. And depending on the brand of rubber bands you're using, some of them are definitely more tight than others. And now the bottom 4 from the corners. Again, I'm going to push this down so it's not as hard for this middle row. It's just 2 from the center and then 4. Push that down. So now what we need to do is close all of this bottom up. So I'm going to start on the bottom right here, and these are going to be very tight because these are the ones that were stretched all the way around, so just take your time. Be very careful you don't lose them off of your hook, and you're just going to move those to the pin above. And then from the top here, again, take your time and move these to the pin below. Same thing on the left. So the bottom 2 will come up. And if you want, you can use your finger, as I often do, to push down on the body, just so you have a better view of what you're doing here. Just need to make sure they both get on there. And then from the top here, these are going to come down. And now the bottom 4 bands need to come over the top. So you're just going to be left with 2 bands on each side. You can see how it's closing up here. And then I'm just going to take one single pink and it's going to go straight across. And now I want the bottom 2 to come off. Again, these are still going to be tight, the ones you're removing, so just be careful. And now one side, I'll take the right, move it over to the left. The bottom will come over the top, and with this last rubber band you can take it off of the loom. And you want to pull this nice and tight to make a slip knot. You don't want it to come apart. And then here's my pig. He's a little squished right now. So let me just pull down his legs. And at the neck here, I'm going to just stretch it up. And I'm going to fix his nose a little bit too. You may want to adjust the ears, angle the ears, and sometimes you need to pull the eyes forward. These look like they're pretty good. And now we still have to do the tail. So for that, what I'm going to do, first I'm going to reach through some of the bands here on the back. Get through a couple. And I'm going to pull the band up through here to make the tail more towards the back. And then I'm going to take another pink band and I want to pull that through, put it back on, pull one end through the other and pull tight to make a slip knot. And now what I'm going to do is take this in my fingers and I want to just twist it around and around till it gets nice and curly. And then I'm going to hold it very carefully so I don't lose the twist of it. And I'm going to go down through some of these bands here. I'll try to pick some of these tighter bands. Throw a couple here. Pull it through. And then let it go. And then you have a little bit of curl for your tail here. So I think he turns out really sweet. And here's the other one that I showed you at the beginning. So I think they turn out really cute, and I think they have their own personalities every time you make them. I hope that everyone enjoyed making their little pigs. You can always leave me comments on YouTube and Facebook, post pictures of your creations to my Facebook page, and please feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can stay up to date on my latest tutorials. You can also find me on Pinterest and Instagram, so please feel free to subscribe to those as well. Thanks for watching!